Our Spiritual Treatise. A Spiritual Discourse by Shrii Anandamurti. February 24, 1970, Ranchi, Jagrti. Publication details occur at the end of the discourse. Shas anattarayastu sa shastra pariki urdata, i.e., that which leads to permanent liberation is shastra or scripture. Here shasana means discipline. The role of scripture is to lead the human beings towards the supreme goal through discipline or anushasana. Dharma is a valuable asset in human life. Dharma ensures a special position for human beings as distinct from animals. They are considered the crown of creation, due to their dharma. Human beings derive the noblest instructions for the greatest development from dharma. When the sole purpose of scripture, i.e. Dharma Shastra, is to establish the human beings in the stable, exalted position of spiritual ideation, it must be practical, rational, infallible and universal. It must be based on deep eternal truths. It must be aptavakya. A scripture is a guided entity. The Subhashita Sangraha series of books are the scriptures of Ananda Marga ideology. The books expound in simple and lucid, elaborate and rational ways, many important aspects of Bhagavata Dharma. Upon reading this series of books, the reader will receive immense spiritual inspiration. While interpreting the various spiritual ideas, relevant portions and shlokas of the Vedas and Tantras have also been discussed. According to Ananda Marga, the Vedas do not necessarily include every branch of knowledge, nor are they infallible. On many occasions, as per necessity, the relevant portions and shlokas from the other scriptures or books have also been quoted. For instance, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Gita, the Quran, Tantra, Yoga, Vedanta, etc., have also been quoted to illustrate various aspects of Dharma and philosophy. This simple and lucid interpretation of Dharma will surely arouse the deep spiritual urges latent in the human mind. Some examples. To attain Paramapurusha, a devotee must be free from the feelings of discrimination. Whenever there is a sense of difference, there is no Paramapurusha. In this context, there is a beautiful story in the Mahabharata, the story of Lord Krishna being fed banana skins by Vijay's wife. As soon as the story is illustrated, the readers have no difficulty in understanding a deep truth that as long as Vijay's devoted wife was feeding Krishna with banana skins, instead of real bananas, with no thought of discrimination in her mind, Krishna relished them. But the moment Vijaya aroused the feeling of differentiation in his wife's mind, Krishna lost interest in eating. To attain the supreme entity, special attachment for him is required. While explaining the true spirit of that special love, it has been said, "You love your son, that is all right. But if he dies, you will have immense grief." Is it not true? Because a son is a finite entity, he will not remain forever. He is bound to die one day, leaving you in boundless sorrow. But if you take your son to be a manifestation of Brahma, you need not fear in constant fear of losing him, because Brahma will never be lost. He is ever present, always surrounding you. This is the spirit of renunciation or vairagya. ******. To attain Paramapurusha there is a necessity of selfless devotion. To illustrate the point, a very common example has been given. Suppose you rear hens, you feed them rice and of course you love them also. If someone takes one of your hens, you will fall out with him, and even come to blows. But is that out of selfless love? Love must be untarnished and free from the least selfishness. You feed the hens for your benefit. You are motivated by the thought that one day the hens will lay eggs and you will earn money by selling them. Nija Sukhalagi Yakayar Piriyatai, Se Yani Garalake, one who loves others for self-interest, swallows poison. For higher spiritual practice, there should be balanced emphasis on Gyan, knowledge, karma, action, and bhakti, devotion. Ananda Marga scripture asks, do you know the mutual relation amongst devotion, action, and knowledge? Suppose you know that there is a certain gentleman, Ramesh Babu, and you also knows the place where he lives. This fact of knowing is Gyan or knowledge, but this alone is not enough, you are to try to reach him. Maybe you are to undertake a long train journey or undergo various other troubles to reach him. This are all karma, or action. Next you have to arrive in front of his house, gently knock at the door and call him politely so that he is pleased to come out and open the door. This part of action, i.e., knocking at the door and calling him, is bhakti or devotion. The readers easily understand the point illustrated in the story. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. To attain Parama Purusha one must pursue the path of greatness. One must fight relentlessly against all sorts of meanness, inferiority complex, etc., and advance towards him while imbibing the ideation of the Supreme. Hence Ananda Margas do not recognize any so-called caste or class divisions. Another figment of human imagination is to attempt to limit the unlimited, formless entity to idols or clay images. Ananda Marga is clearly opposed to idol worship. So it states, do not keep yourself absorbed in crude thought or allow yourself to be carried away by impulse and narrow tendencies. Those who indulge in idol worship unknowingly worship the static force. According to Ananda Marga, Brahma, the supreme entity, one without beginning and end, is the only object of ideation. The spirit of the message of scripture is conveyed to the readers in a language that touches the deepest chords of the human heart. It is meant to provide inspiration to the seekers of truth. The scripture arouses deep devotional sentiments. O human beings, proceed on the path of ankara towards subtleness. Do not run after the superficial, pleasant mirage dominated by tamoguna. Establish yourself in sattvaguna and then merge yourself into Brahma. Reach the point whence ankara has started. Awaken your latent dynamism through sadhana and devotion, arouse your divine wisdom and merge that pure divinity into the endless stream of divine glory. Attain the supreme state for which you have suffered tremendous privations. Today you have the most favorable opportunity to prove yourself as human being. Do not disregard this overflowing love of your unfailing friend. Do not allow any of his gifts to go unused. Just think once deeply with a calm mind, how much he has done for you, how much he is doing and how ready he is to do anything for you. Do not forget him, O human beings. See, thoroughly absorbed in the thought of Brahma, you rush along the path of self-realization starting from the first expression of moralism. Maybe your feet will be pricked by thorns on the path and will bleed profusely, or the treacherous horrors of thunder and lightning may fall on your head, yet you are to move on undaunted. Remember, you are a born fighter. To stop the war and lie inert or flee from the battlefield is against your nature. Ignoring all the obstacles on the way, you must rush towards the real destination, Parama Purusha. His sweet call rushes towards you since eternity. Can you disregard that supreme call and keep yourself engrossed in the petty world created by Maya? Editor note, the original Sanskrit verse has been omitted. The translation follows. Can one who responds to the call of the Supreme bother about the minor problems on the way? In the Subhashita Samgraha series, the excellence of Ananda Marga has been analyzed by way of comparing our ideology with other schools of thought. Some simple and innocent seekers of light may lose themselves in the narrow, meandering alleys of philosophies and doctrines. To provide proper guidance to the devotees, different philosophies with their positive and negative aspects have been thoroughly analyzed. For instance, there has been detailed discussions on bhakti and many of the stages of bhakti have been discussed: Tamasiki bhakti, Rajasiki bhakti, Sattviki bhakti, Vaidik bhakti, Nirguna bhakti, Gyan Mishra bhakti, Raganuga bhakti, Kevala bhakti, etc. Of these stages of devotion, which one should be pursued by Ananda Margas? The Marga scripture says, in Ananda Marga, there is no place for Vaidhi or Gyan Mishra bhakti. Ananda Margas are followers of Ragatmika bhakti and therefore they do not wish to terminate their journey in the state of Vrajabhava. Whatever else there may be in dualistic Vrajabhava, there is no expression of the due reverence or the will of Brahma or his introversive phase of the cycle of creation. Why do people fail to realize the nice opportunity which His grace has offered them? Why will they do not merge their I feeling into the immortality of the Supreme? By enjoying the bliss of divine attainment as a separate existence, the unit mind is associated with indriyas, the apprehension of deterioration exists. That is why Ananda Marga does not accept staying in Gopi Bhava. This makes it amply clear to the sadhakas that one should not think of oneself to be Ramdas, but Ramasvarupa. There are three approaches to sadhana. 1. Dakshinachara, rightist approach. 2. Vamachara, leftist approach. 3. Madhyamachara, centrist approach. Which path should an Ananda Marga sadhaka adopt? The Marga scripture says, Vamachara sadhakas, even before attaining their goal, often misuse their hard-earned power, consequently, they unknowingly invite more darkness, more dullness, and gradually degenerate into animality. Without fixing the goal of struggle, it is futile to win the war against Prakriti. Hence Ananda Marga supports neither Vamachara nor Dakshinachara sadhana because the latter is the path of flattery. Flattery or sycophancy is a sign of cowardice. A mighty person being pleased with flattery may grant a few favors, a certain amount of privilege, but never complete freedom. Hence, Ananda Marga advocates only the Madhyamachara sadhana, to advance towards Brahma tearing the veil of ignorance created by avidyamaya. Human life is usually busy nowadays. It is not possible to read various scriptures and gather the essence of scriptural knowledge. At the same time svadhyaya, a part of jarma and nyarma, has also to be conducted. The study of Subhashita Sangraha will serve the purpose. The ancient preceptors will select and train only a handful of deserving disciples. The latter would sit face to face with the preceptor and seek clarification of doubts and confusions. But as Ananda Marga stands for a large-scale spiritual renaissance in the society, there is little scope for the preceptor and an increasing number of devotees to sit face to face and clarify all doubts. But there is no end to doubts and confusions in sadhakas' minds. The Subhashita Sangraha series deals with such topics as will help clarify the various doubts arising within the sadhakas' minds. February 24, 1970, Ranchi Jagrti. Published in Ananda Marga Philosophy in a Nutshell Part 4, a compilation. Tattva Kaomudii Part 2 unpublished in English.